There are lots of videos that show us how to plant asparagus, but hardly any that show us how not to plant asparagus, and honestly, that's even more important. Well, I followed those how-to videos and I thought I did everything right, but I've been suffering the consequences ever since. Turns out I planted my asparagus in the dumbest way possible, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to properly plant asparagus and, more importantly, how not to plant asparagus so you don't wind up with a big mess like I have.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check out my Amazon store and Spreadshop links in the video description for everything I use in my garden and awesome custom apparel and gear.
No vegetable garden is complete without an asparagus patch because it is one of the easiest, lowest maintenance things you can grow. For a very small initial monetary investment and only about an hour of your time, you will have an extremely cold-hardy perennial that will feed you and your family for the next 20 to 30 years. Asparagus crowns are very long-lived, so you pretty much plant it, and then after you get it through the first year or two for the big roots to establish, you basically set it and forget it. What you see right here is my asparagus patch that I planted about 5 years ago. After the initial planting, I really never had to do anything with this patch other than cut it back at the end of each winter when the frost and freeze kills it and you get all this dieback. Other than the 10 minutes it takes to prune it back, I do nothing, and every March this pumps out spears galore. Dozens, hundreds of asparagus spears, and I've been eating good out of this bed for quite a while. Planting asparagus is a very simple process. If you want to see the full planting video as to how I planted this entire bed full of dormant asparagus crowns, I'll link to that video both above and down in the video description. But if you just want a brief overview summary, this is how you do it. Step 1 is going to be to source your bare root asparagus crowns, and we want to do this during the dormant season, sometime between late fall and early spring, because the best way to plant asparagus is to buy the crowns and then plant them when the ground is still cold, so they will naturally wake up in the spring when the weather warms. Now, me personally, I buy all of my bare root asparagus crowns and other dormant bare root things, like strawberries and such, from a local veteran-owned company near me in North Carolina called Handpicked Nursery. They do sell online. I'll place some links in the video description if you want to patronize where I buy the crowns, but all you really need to do is find your local supplier or choose the varieties that you want online, and then once you get the bare root crowns in the mail, this is what you do. The best time to plant your bare root asparagus is in the dormant season, late fall through early winter. If the ground doesn't freeze in your zone, you are free to plant your bare root asparagus crowns anytime during this period. But if your ground does freeze, either plant them on the front side of fall before the ground freezes or immediately after it thaws out in late winter, early spring. The key is to plant your asparagus crowns while it is still cold out before the soil warms to give the crowns some time to establish underground before they send up new spears above. Prior to planting, soak your bare root crowns for 30 to 60 minutes in lukewarm water. Then, dig trenches 6 to 8 inches deep with a slight ridge in the center so you can place your crowns with the roots aiming down while spread out, almost looking like a mop. Space each crown 12 to 18 inches apart. If you are digging multiple trenches, space each trench 12 to 18 inches apart if you're planting them in a garden bed, or space them several feet apart if you want to plant them outside of your garden and create a walking path in between. Then amend the trenches with an organic all-purpose fertilizer and an organic bone meal supplement. Then backfill the trenches and add a layer of 1 to 2 inches of compost on top. Water the area in very well. Optionally, you can also add a 2 to 3 inch layer of a natural mulch on top, like wood chips, wheat straw, pine straw, or leaves. The asparagus spears will start to emerge once the soil warms up, but don't harvest any asparagus for the first 2 years. You want the plants to spend maximum effort establishing their roots in that period. Starting year 3, you can take a light harvest, with full harvest coming in at year 4 and beyond. I followed all of these instructions to a T, and I was rewarded with absolutely beautiful, super productive and healthy asparagus, and my asparagus patch has been kicking butt ever since. But here's the thing nobody told me, that if I could do all over again, I would make major changes. The reason why asparagus crowns are so long-lived and can produce perennially for decades is because the roots are vigorous. Not a little vigorous, a lot of vigorous. So vigorous, in fact, I would label them as downright invasive. Asparagus roots can dig down 10 feet into the soil and branch out even further. So, if you plant your asparagus crowns in the midst of all of your other raised garden beds like I did, you are going to find those roots invading all of those raised garden beds. Everywhere I dig down deeply in these beds, I find asparagus roots. In fact, I had to double stack this raised bed right here because the roots were all over the bottom when it was only a single layer bed. I'm also in the midst of removing all of these perimeter garden beds that are adjacent to this asparagus bed because the roots are just everywhere. I couldn't dig down more than 3 or 4 inches without finding big old clumps of asparagus roots coming out of this area. But there's another problem. Did you know asparagus ferns get 7, 8, 9 feet tall in a single season? I didn't know that. You could have fooled me. I thought that they would only get to be about maybe yay high and I would be able to control them, but no. It makes them completely inaccessible in this whole area. When the asparagus starts popping up in March and April, it's not a big deal, but by May, the ferns are too tall and I have to put stakes in the ground and run twine around this entire garden bed to keep them contained, and then eventually the twine winds up collapsing under the weight, and then we get our frost and freezes, and I can't even walk through this area. It's basically impossible to plant in any of these raised garden beds because of these stupid asparagus ferns falling all over the place. Just look what it's like walking through this thicket, and keep in mind this is after all of the asparagus have been killed by numerous hard freezes. When it's the middle of summer, it's basically impossible to get through here, and I can't use any of these raised garden beds, at least on this side. Basically everything adjacent to this asparagus bed is a total loss in my garden. This was a bad idea. I don't know what I was thinking. So here's what I learned. Plant asparagus. I mean, plant lots of it because it's one of the easiest, lowest maintenance things I grow in my entire yard and garden. Just don't plant it inside the garden itself. Don't plant it near anything else that's going to struggle with root competition. In fact, I would isolate this at least 15 to 20 feet away from anything else. Give it its own dedicated spot where it's not going to intermingle with other things because it is very invasive. Planting it the way I did was dumb. I should have known a smarter way exists. If I could do it all over again, the way I would plant my asparagus is almost in a walkway orientation, sort of like how I did with my blackberries right here, where I have this nice little walking path right here. Well, imagine if on this space, separated about 5 or 6 feet away, there was an adjacent walking path full of asparagus, and I could have asparagus on my left and blackberries or raspberries on my right, with a nice little walking path in between to give everything enough space. Maybe they'll have a little bit of root entanglement, but it could actually work with each other because you'll be sort of slowing each other down. They'd have enough room to grow with vigor, but they wouldn't be able to spread so much and have asparagus popping up in different locations and blackberries popping up in different locations, almost like you're using the invasiveness of their roots to a bit of an advantage. I would do something like that. But of course I would plant it with a caveat that the roots of the asparagus wouldn't be adjacent to my garden. I would want to have at least a 10-foot buffer separation, otherwise the roots would find their way into my garden beds. But that being said, asparagus season is over since everything has been killed back by frost and freeze and everything looks dead and wood-like. So I'm going to quickly show you how to prune your asparagus beds and put it to sleep for fall into the winter. So I'm going to take a pair of anvil pruners because anvil pruners are specifically made to cut dead material, and I'm going to go to about 1 inch above the ground, and I'm going to cut all of these ferns off and pull them out of my garden. Again, we'll go to the base of each and we'll prune them off so it's flush to 1 inch above the ground, just like that. And a lot of these have died back so much, sometimes they pull right out on their own. And then we'll just continue to cut the whole patch down until everything is flush and cleaned out. As an optional step, if you choose, you can amend your garden soil with an organic all-purpose fertilizer. I'm going to do this because my asparagus spears are going to start breaking ground in only 90 days where I live. So this is an organic slow-release fertilizer. In the cold soil, this is going to take months to break down, so it's not going to be a waste. If your asparagus is not going to break ground for another 4, 5, 6 months, maybe you don't want to do this, but it breaks ground really early where I live, so I think it's worth it. If it breaks ground later where you live, maybe wait a few months before you apply this. Just if you do, make sure you use a slow release granular organic because it takes months for the soil to break it down. Don't go putting down Miracle Grow or something that's been processed so it's immediately bioavailable. That would be a total waste of money. But one thing you want to do regardless where you live is put down 1 to 2 inches of compost, because this will insulate the crowns and it will provide nutrients for next year when they finally break the ground. So I'm going to take 2 bags of compost and I'm going to dump it on the bed and just use my hands and spread it out evenly in a 1 to 2 inch layer around the whole area. It should only take you a couple of minutes. And if you find any weeds in the soil at this point, make sure you pull them. And the very last and possibly most important step is to put a 2 to 3 inch layer of a natural mulch down. I'm going to use an old partially rotted bale of wheat straw, but any natural mulch will do. This is critical to both insulate the crowns over the winter as well as suppress any weed formation. And this is what an asparagus patch should look like when it has been put to sleep for the winter. We will see you in a few months, asparagus. Now for my final asparagus tip. What should we do with all of these asparagus ferns that we cut down? Well, that depends on where you live and if you colonize a pest called the asparagus beetle. If you don't colonize the asparagus beetle and you've never had issues with asparagus pests, insects in your yard and garden, you can take these, chop them up, and use them as mulch around your fruit trees, your landscaping, or even the asparagus patch itself. But if you do colonize the asparagus beetle, you should take all of these and burn them, because the asparagus beetle eggs actually overwinter in the old dead plant material. So if you don't take them off site, they're all going to hatch come the spring, and you'll basically over time colonize a huge bank of asparagus beetles in your yard. But if you burn them all, you'll eliminate the pests and you can minimize or even eliminate the asparagus beetle. And that right there is the really dumb mistake I made when planting my asparagus, and if I could do it all over again, how I would plant it, where I would plant it, as well as how you can put your asparagus patch to bed for the winter. I know we covered a lot of information in this video, so if you have any questions, please ask them down in the comments below. And of course, if you want a detailed planting guide, watch the video on how to plant asparagus that I linked in the video description as well. So everybody, I sure hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please ring the notification bell if you want to be notified when I release more videos like these. If you're curious about any of the products that I featured in the video, like the asparagus crowns and where to get them, the anvil pruners, fertilizers, or anything else I use specifically to grow asparagus, I place direct links down in the video description for your convenience to all of those items. For everything else I use in my yard and garden in general, that is all linked in my Amazon storefront. So expand the video description, click on the Amazon storefront, and you'll see everything I use in real life. And while you're down there, check out my website, themillennialgardener.com, for all things gardening, as well as custom merch if you want to support my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video. Come on, Dale, let's take off your harness. We just got back from our second walk of the day. And Dale was so good. He's been so good recently. And he was sniffing so much. Look, he's got a big old spittle string. Big old spittle string. He was a very, very, very good boy on his walk. And now he probably wants a treat for being good. All right, let me reach in my pocket. I'll pull out a potato. You want a potato? Like, no. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's another potato. Oh, hey, don't walk away from me here. I'll give you a real treat. Come on, Dale. Come on. Here's a biscuit. Here's a real treat. Doesn't everybody walk around with a potato in their pocket? Now, you be gentle. Last week, you almost bit my finger off. Gentle. 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 Ow! Nah, it wasn't that gentle. Here, you want another potato? Stinker.